Catholic Moments, Episode 165, The Lost Valentine.
Blooming, finding joy in the journey and hope in the heaven yet to come. Blooming.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Moments. And now, here's your host and my mom, Lisa Hendy.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catholic Moments, the show from CatholicMom.com, where we talk about all things faith, family, and fun from a Catholic perspective. And Happy New Year! Welcome to our first podcast of 2011. Can you believe it that it's already midway through January and we're just now settling down for our first episode of Catholic Moments? But I'm happy to share with you that we will be podcasting much more regularly during the year ahead. And so I'm happy to say thank you to all of you for begging or for bearing with me during some busy times in the last few months. But we've got some really great interviews coming up, including one today with Barbara Ganji, who's the director of a terrific new movie that you'll be seeing very soon on your television set called The Lost Valentine. It has a Catholic tie-in, and I'm happy to share it with you on today's episode of Catholic Moments. But before we jump into the show anymore, I want to share with you a great way to start any episode, which is with a few words of inspiration from everyone's favorite online deacon. Here he is, Deacon Tom Fox, with this week's Deacon Moment.
Well, hello again. I haven't talked with you since last year. Wow. Time sure flies when you're busy, busy, busy. And busy I am these days. I exercised and had physical training 3 days this week. I've been assembling a new corner desk for my newly painted and redecorated office. I'm going to be putting my wife's new desk together for her redecorated office. 3 times I've preached at church. That always takes prayer and research time. I just finished a column for David and Allison Sweeney's Catholic Family website. And now these words for Catholic Moments. I sure am busy, and I bet you're busy too. This reminds me, though, what Henry David Thoreau once said, "It's not enough to be busy, so are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about?" I'll bet we can justify every busy activity that's going on in our busy lives. Yet my Bible has been barely touched in the opening hours of 2011. Jesus still waits in the tabernacle. I've been to Mass and out the door with little serious thought of having consumed the bread of life. Another friend named Lisa sent me an album of traditional and modern praise songs. It's quite lovely. One of the hymns is a song that I love so much, it makes me tender when I hear it. The Latin title is Panis Angelicus. It means the bread of angels. Just think about those words, the bread of angels. Well, truthfully, angels can't consume that consecrated bread. Only we humans can do so. And I think I read one time that angels adore Christ present in us for the time that the Eucharist is still in our system. Imagine an angel bowing before me, right at me, because Jesus is in me. And here I am telling the Lord that I'm too busy to get to adoration, or to get to a daily Mass, or to pay Him a visit in the empty church. And then I hear those words in my heart. It's not enough to be busy, so are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about? This is Deacon Tom. I'm never too busy to wish you blessings and time to reflect on what's important in your life.
Deacon Tom, when I heard this reflection, or rather when I read the title of it, I thought maybe you were poking a little bit fun at me because I really was in sort of a frenzy at the end of last year. Our longtime listeners will know that 2010 was a super, super busy year for me. My first book, the Handbook for Catholic Moms, by the grace of God, was released in late January, early February of last year, and I started a very busy speaking schedule, and in the midst of that was invited to write a second book, also with Ave Maria Press, and they had that book sort of on the fast track, so my deadline for that book was January 3rd. So in the midst of sort of jetting around the country and meeting with groups and parishes and organizations and dioceses, I was working on the second book, and we, with your prayers and with a lot of support from my online friends, got that manuscript turned in about 12 hours early and beat the deadline. And so my busyness has been curtailed a little bit in the last few weeks. But the great news is that my son, our Catholic Moments announcer, Eric, has been home from college. So I've been sort of recuperating and just spending some time with family, along with something really special. I just got back from a trip last week to Rockford, Illinois. Yes, I went to Rockford in January, which I've been advised is not the best time of the year to see it, but was out there to do a women's retreat based on the Handbook for Catholic Moms, and I had such a great time with those ladies. And I was just sitting in front of the Blessed Sacrament in adoration over the weekend, just reflecting on all the blessings of the last year, but also all of the busyness too. So, Deacon Tom, I'm with you on this busy, and I'm also with you on needing to work a little bit on keeping my priorities straight in the new year. So thank you for your constant support and for this message, but more importantly, for the great role model that you set for me and for so many of us. If you'd like to hear more from Deacon Tom and his lovely wife, Dee, who has apparently a cool new desk, head over to CatholicVitamins.com where you can hear their weekly podcast. And it's one of my favorites. I know you'll love it too. And you can visit Deacon Tom online at www.deacontomonline.com. And now for more inspiration from another special friend, we begin a reflection on the glorious mysteries of the Rosary with my dear friend and our Mary mom, Sarah Reinhardt, with this week's Mary Moment.
Hello, my name's Elizabeth.
And my name's Sarah Reinhardt.
It's time for Mary
Moment. Light streamed in through the stained glass windows, creating halos around everyone's heads. The smell of lilies and hyacinth mingled among the crowded pews. Everyone seemed to be smiling. I was attending my first Easter Mass with the man who would later become my husband. I had been attending Mass with him for some months before that Easter, getting up uncomfortably early to join his family for the 8:30 a.m. Mass at the little church that was down the road. It was the very picture of a country church, tiny enough to feel crowded with 50 people, wood-framed, glorious in its simplicity. There were plenty of secret cubbyholes and stashing places, and even a vestibule and a sacristy, both approximately the size of postage stamps. The stained glass windows seemed to glow during those Sunday morning masses. During that first Easter Mass, Father seemed to have a nimbus surrounding him as he held his arms high. The light was everywhere. And when I think of the glorious mysteries, it is that Easter Sunday that comes to mind. That Easter represents a beginning for me, though it would be another year or two before I was officially Catholic. Maybe there was a special grace I received that day, one that opened my heart a bit, made me open to God's will a little more than I had been before. So often, the glorious mysteries feel inaccessible to me. They are a past that's distant from my here and now, a set of circumstances that were great for those people, but that affect me in name only. I have to get past my feelings and focus on the reality of these mysteries. Make them my own in some tangible way. Jesus rose from the dead. Have I heard it so much that it has failed to become a lived experience? Have I forgotten the pain and the suffering that are such a part of human life? Here's the remedy, offered to me as a constant, one that I can receive every single week. The resurrection is an empty tomb. Jesus holds out his hand and shows me that there is nothing to fear. He is with me. And then, in the ascension, though he leaves, it is with an invitation to join him, to follow him, to share him with others. He doesn't leave us alone, though, but sends us the very best of all gifts, the Holy Spirit. contemplating the Assumption and the crowning of Mary, I have to remind myself that these are more than just a chance to make me feel, once again, intimidated by Mary's grandeur. Instead, they prompt me to think of how very human she was, how hard she labored, and continues to labor, to bring people closer to her Son, how much she loves me and relates with my struggles. The glorious mysteries are an opportunity to embrace the truth of our Christian faith and open ourselves to the grace God is waiting to pour into us. Whatever our burdens, whatever our cares, we can place them in Mary's hands with this set of mysteries and let her carry them to her Son, who will answer them in the best possible way.
Sarah, thanks so much for that beautiful reflection. I just so enjoy your take on the rosary, and it's been honestly over these last few months as we've listened to you reflect on the various mysteries, it's really made a difference in my prayer life. So often when I'm praying the rosary, I hear your little voice ringing through, and it just you are drawing me closer to Jesus through Mary, and I thank you for that. And if you, our listeners, would like to spend more time with Sarah, I hope that you'll visit her blog. You can visit it daily at www.snoringscholar.com, and you'll find more of her wisdom and more of her fun, and she's just such a sweet friend. So thanks, Sarah, and I hope you're having a great new year. And let's turn now to our interview for this week. Before I play the interview, what I want to do is read you a synopsis of this movie that the interview is regarding. It's called The Lost Valentine, and then I'm going to play you just a little tiny clip. They don't actually have a trailer, but they do have some clips from the film, and I just so enjoyed it. I'll have to tell you that I was watching it on the plane coming home from Rockford, and I just was crying. The person next to me was looking at me like, why are you crying? Why are you laughing? And I just so enjoyed this movie, so I can't wait for you guys to see it too. It's called The Lost Valentine. It's going to be airing on Sunday, January 30th, CBS. The Catholic tie-in to this film is that it was produced by Paulist Productions, a Catholic entertainment organization run by a Catholic priest, and getting ready to celebrate 50 years of making great entertainment for Catholic families. And it's also in conjunction with the Hallmark Hall of Fame series that you see on television. It's going to be airing on CBS, as I said. Here's a synopsis of the movie. During World War II, Navy Lieutenant Neil Thomas bids Carolyn, his pregnant young wife, farewell at Union Station. Before their son is born, Neil's plane goes down in the Pacific, and he's declared missing in action. Carolyn is devastated, but love never dies, and for the next 66 years, Carolyn, played by Betty White, returns to Union Station on the anniversary of her loss to salute the memory of her handsome and brave husband. Eventually, a TV journalist, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, learns of the touching story and sets out to investigate just what happened to Neil 65 years earlier. Neil and Carolyn's grandson encourages his initially reluctant grandmother to cooperate. Eventually, the reporter and the young man... Well, I'm not going to say that. That's a spoiler. You'll have to wait and see what happens there. Viewers will embrace both Betty White in a dramatic role that celebrates lost love and Jennifer Love Hewitt in a part that celebrates found love. The Lost Valentine is based on the novel by James Michael Pratt. And here's just a little clip from the movie. Let me see if I can get it to play for you. One of my favorite scenes of Betty White in the film with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
So, this has been lovely. What's next?
Next.
Do you bring in the cameras, or...?
You're gonna let me do the story? Oh, thank you. Sorry. Okay, wow. Ultimately, we would just like to get you on tape, telling your side of the story in your own words, but in the meantime...
Oh, I don't much believe in meantime. Life happens in real time. How soon do you want to start?
So this film, again, it stars Betty White, who, boy, what a career she's had. And I think at 89, she's busier than ever. So it's just really a fun movie. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I want to share with you now my conversation with the film's producer and the vice president of Paulist Productions' Barbara Ganji. Next up on today's episode of Catholic Moments, I am so happy to welcome back to the show Vice President of Development and Production for Paulist Productions, Barbara Ganji. Hi, Barbara. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Terrific. Let me just tell our listeners just a little bit more about you. Barbara is the Vice President of Paulist Productions, and she supervises both development and productions. For the last 10 years, she has worked on both documentaries, web series, including Tyler's Ride, which we talked about on the show here, and made-for-TV movies. And her most recent credit includes the very wonderful movie, The Lost Valentine. We've just heard the trailer for the film, and I'm so happy to be discussing with her the making of this particular movie before it's airing on January 30th. So, Barbara, welcome back to Catholic Moments, and thank you so much. And I just want to have you, first of all, start off by telling us just a little bit more about Paulist Productions. I know you guys are celebrating over 50 years of great work, and tell us a little bit more about the organization.
Well, as you say, we are celebrating our 50-year anniversary. We were originally founded by Father Bud Kaiser, and it was some of your people there may remember the Insight series, which ran for years, which starred just about everybody who was in show business at the time. We had Martin Sheen and Patty Duke and Bob Newhart. I mean, it was just a wonderful anthology series, and in fact, we still have all of those in the vault. It's just a really wonderful homage to television, and that's how Paulist really got started and was put on the map. We have since produced movies, including Romero, which still gets quite a bit of acclaim. And we produced a movie called Judas for television, which aired a few years back. And now, of course, we have just finished production on the movie The Lost Valentine with Betty White and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes, and let's go straight to talking about this film. I'm so lucky for many reasons, but one of them is that I actually have already seen a screener of The Lost Valentine. This film, for our listeners, I'm going to say to you, mark your calendars right now, set your DVRs, but you want to watch it firsthand. The Lost Valentine, this film stars Betty White, who is just incomparable, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and a whole cast of really remarkable characters in a true love story based on a great novel written by James Michael Pratt. Now, tell me, Barbara, how the project came about. What inspired this particular film?
Well, speaking of the novel, I had actually read the novel. I was on my way to another production many years ago, and was looking for something to read on the airplane, and grabbed this because I thought, it resonated for me. I thought, it goes back to the 40s. I love that era, the World War II era, and it was a strong love story. And I thought, well, this will be a good read. And I read it and loved it, and thought to myself, this would probably be something good to develop into a movie. And several years later, someone brought me the screenplay, and I started reading it, and I thought, this sounds familiar, and I realized it was based on the book that I had read. And at that point, I thought, okay, this must be God's way of telling me I should do something more with this. So I thought, what a perfect place to take it. It's a Valentine. It's a love story. Hallmark Hall of Fame. It was a no-brainer. Take it to them. And in fact, it was the only place I pitched this project was Hallmark Hall of Fame. They took one look at it and felt the same way I did. They said, yes, we'd love to do this.
So did that happen, and then you went after Betty White and Jennifer Love Hewitt, or were they already signed on before you went to...
Oh, no, they hadn't. No. That came much later. And Jennifer came first, and then Betty, and it was almost simultaneous, but once that package came together, then we were off and running, and we actually shot this in a very short period of time. We shot it in 25 days. But it's amazing how things come together when you have stars the caliber of Betty and Jennifer.
Well, and Betty, I mean, she's got to give all of us hope, because I don't know how she looks as beautiful as she ever has in this film.
Yes.
And she's so busy right now. So getting her is actually kind of a coup, because I know she's got a new series, and she's just super busy these days. So what was it like to work with her?
Oh, it was a dream. I was a little nervous because I thought, well, I wonder if it's what you see is what you get, because sometimes actors can be very different in person. But Betty is absolutely what you see is what you get. She is charming, she's funny, she's fun, she is a barrel of energy. It's totally amazing. This woman is turning 89 on January 17th. And she ran circles around all of us. Halfway through the day, we'd be just exhausted from laughing and crying with Betty. And she'd be like, okay, what's next?
Well, you
so
mentioned...
she was always our cheerleader.
You mentioned laughing and crying. The film is a modern film and also sort of a period piece. And I have to say, it was beautifully filmed. The production value is incredible, and it just sort of leaps off the screen in terms of the beauty of the film. Now, I want to know for you, the faith aspects of it that really shine through in this particular movie. Was that part of the original screenplay, or did you have to kind of massage that a little bit? And how has that kind of tied the whole thing together?
Well, actually, that's the faith aspect was another thing that drew me to this story. It's first of all, it's a great homage to the Navy, and because it's about a naval hero. And it's about courage and about sacrificing your life for another human being, and I mean all those great Christian values. And the novel actually is quite Catholic. That doesn't come across necessarily in the movie, but it certainly comes across that our hero Neil is a Christian. And in fact, he wears a cross and he prays, but in the novel, it's even more Catholic. So that was one of the things that drew me to it. But in general, this whole film celebrates Christian values: the sanctity of marriage, enduring love till the end of time. I mean, all those things that we hold dear.
It really is, and his I don't want to give away any spoilers, but there are particular scenes where the faith that really leads him to make the decisions that he does is just so apparent. And again,
Yes.
This isn't a movie that you have to be Catholic to watch, but it's definitely something that will be a great film for people to watch with their families. That sends a lot of messages, but also that's just plain entertaining. I have to say.
I agree. Yes.
And I wonder about the chemistry, because that's one of the things that I look for when I see a film like this. There's tremendous chemistry between Betty White and Jennifer Love Hewitt in her role, but also between the two, both of the couples in the film. Is that something that was just automatic, or how does that happen? How do you, as somebody behind the scenes, how does that come about?
Well, the chemistry between Billy Magnuson and Megan Fahey, they're the young couple that play the 40s in the 40s period piece, and Megan plays the young Betty. We actually found them. We auditioned in both New York and Los Angeles for these roles, and we found Billy and Megan both in New York. And we auditioned Billy first, and then we found Megan, and then we were fortunate enough to be able to put them in the room together to see how they would play, again, addressing that chemistry issue. And they had that powerful chemistry even in the audition, and these two kids had never met before, and they just jumped off the screen. When we saw them together, we went, oh my gosh, that's our Neil and Caroline. And they have that kind of retro look about them too, which I love. I mean, they really look like they could have lived in that period. We had to do very little to them to make it feel as if they were a couple that lived in the 40s. So we were thrilled to get them both. Megan, actually, this is Megan's first television appearance. She is actually a Broadway star. She was, and still is, I believe, playing in Next to Normal in New York.
Well, she does a stunning job, and he does too.
Yes, and they're sweethearts in person too. I just had a great time with them.
That's awesome.
And the chemistry between Betty and Jennifer, really, it amazed me. Jennifer, we started shooting with Jennifer first. Betty didn't join us until the second week of production. And Jennifer was just so excited she kept saying every day, Betty's coming, Betty's coming, Betty's coming. She was so excited. And when she hit the set, she and Jennifer just hit it off beautifully, and they were always outdoing each other. Jennifer is quite funny in person. She has a great sense of humor. And as a result, you can imagine, the fireworks between the two of them was just great. Like I said, they either had us laughing or crying.
Well, it's really a fun film to watch. Again, the name of the movie is The Lost Valentine, and it does air on CBS on January 30th at 9 or 8 Central. And tell us how, along with watching the film, how can we support projects like this so that we see more of them on our television screens?
Well, again, watching certainly helps because, the studios, the networks, everyone looks to the numbers, and the more people that watch, it tells the networks people want this kind of movie. And I think people are hungry for this kind of love story that touches you, and it's all about the human spirit. And, if we support it with our eyeballs, and tell all our friends and family to watch. And you can even, it would be wonderful if people wrote in to CBS and said, I want more of this kind of thing, because then it makes my job easier when I go back to CBS and want to sell them something else. It gives me that credibility of, see, people do watch, people do want this kind of quality entertainment.
Well, I'm going to get off the air. I'm going to get your contact information and follow up with you on how we can get the address out to our listeners to do just that, because I'm not above starting a letter writing campaign for something like this.
That's great.
Or an email campaign.
Great.
We want and need these types of uplifting, inspiring, educational and entertainment opportunities for our families. Barbara, what's next for you once this airs, and are you working on something else that we're going to be able to promote soon?
Well, I've got several things in the works right now, but there's nothing I can actually talk about right this minute.
Ooh.
But I have a lot of projects that have that same kind of social value to them, and so yes, and this is again why I need to have this kind of credibility to be able to sell them.
That's
so.
Great.
But I will certainly let you know as soon as I have something else to talk about. I will certainly let you know, and you can help me talk about it.
I sure will. Well, we are so grateful to have had you on the show today, Barbara. Again, our guest has been Barbara Ganji, and she is the VP of Development and Productions with Paulus Productions. Be sure to go over to paulusproductions.org to wish them a happy 50th anniversary of the great work that they're doing, and be sure to tune into The Lost Valentine on CBS on January 30th at 9, 8 Central. Thanks, Barbara.
And thank you so much, and thank all your listeners for their support.
Well, thanks again to Barbara and to all the folks over at Paulus Productions. You can visit them at paulusproductions.org to find out more information about the film and watch my Facebook page, because we'll be helping you to remember when we get closer to the 30th that this great movie's coming up, and I know you're going to want to watch it. It's really, really good, and I just really enjoyed it. And I what Barbara has to say about our families, making noise when we hear about things that are good entertainment, that are positive and uplifting, and supporting this kind of television programming. It takes us to do it, or else we're going to keep getting the junk that we've been getting. So I'd challenge you to support this, to help me spread the word, and most of all, to enjoy it with your family. And now I'm going to let you go enjoy your family as we wrap up this week's podcast. I want to thank you for all of your prayers and all of your support. And I do want to invite you to be a part of the show. You can reach us anytime on our voice feedback line. It's 206-339-9272. And by calling that number, you won't get me. You'll get a recording, and you can just leave a voice feedback. Just leave us a little message. Let us know how your new year is going. Your participation in this show is really what we're looking for. And I'd love to have more feedback in the new year. So if you want to just call and say hi, you're welcome to do that too. Again, the number is 206-339-9272. We've been underway doing lots of rehab over at CatholicMom.com. So if you haven't been over there lately, please come to www.CatholicMom.com, and you'll see some of the refurbishing that we're doing over there. We're still at work on a few new features, and so I hope that you'll check that out and leave a few comments on the blog over there, and just enjoy all the great stuff. We've got so many great articles lately lately from our contributors, and of course our weekly Sunday activities too. So as we wrap up the show, though, I'm going to leave you with a little taste of a song that Deacon Tom mentioned. This version of it is by L'Angelou, which is a wonderful Catholic Cajun band. I'm not going to play the whole song. I'm going to give you a taste of it and then tell you to come to the show notes and click on their website to buy the song in total. And until next week, I hope you and your family have just an absolutely beautiful weekend, and we'll see you soon on Catholic Moments. Take care, everybody. God bless, and bye-bye.
SQPN, leading the way in Catholic new media.